All right, we're live. And let me go ahead and get us on Instagram. There we go. So, you and I were talking earlier that you were like, maybe I should move back to the Pacific Northwest. So I guess my brother and my dad are both been without power since last night. There's like over 5 million people without power. So I want to send some love out to people in the Northwest and hope that you guys are, you're probably not watching now because there's no power.
No power.
Down the road, you're keeping warm and staying safe. He even showed me, my brother sent me video of like trees falling down. I mean, it was pretty crazy last night, apparently. Like
a snowstorm or just a bad rain and hail?
Calling it the bomb cyclone.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, and they're getting like 60 miles per hour winds, and I mean, it's pretty scary out there. So I know that my brother had to leave his neighborhood just to go try to get cell phone coverage. So anyway, so hearts going out to everybody in the Northwest and hoping everybody stays safe. And I know that California is going to be getting a ton of rain. So everybody just be good and stay safe. Okay.
So I guess there is something to being on those, middle states in the middle of the country.
Yes. I mean, because actually today, this is the first time that I've worn a sweater because it's only 60 degrees outside. I know.
It's cold here. I mean, this is like Alaska weather right now. And I'm still in, shorts and flip-flops. I went outside and my sister's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "This is Alaska weather."
Yeah, you're used to it. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get us started. I'm going to actually add this to the page so people can see it. So hello, and thank you for joining us today to the Dog Gurus Live. This is where we share tips, strategies, and inspiration to help pet care businesses thrive. I'm Shawnte Marquez, a Profit Network coach with the Dog Gurus, and I'm thrilled to be here with my fellow coach, Kari Campbell. At the Dog Gurus, we are all about providing the education and coaching that pet care entrepreneurs need to succeed. As business owners ourselves, we walked in your shoes, tackled the same challenges, and developed proven strategies to not just survive, but to thrive in the pet care industry. Really our heart and our goal is all about helping you run a business that's safe, efficient, effective, and profitable. So if you want to get ready to level up your business, come and join us at the Pet Business Growth Workshop. It's happening February 26th through the 28th in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's a perfect way to jumpstart your journey and success. And I wanted to take a moment to just talk about all of the great speakers that we have. And I know, Kari, I want to lean on you to talk about Taylor Cezanne, because that's going to be fabulous. I'm really excited to have her.
She is a Texan. She's actually around the Fort Worth area, I believe. And she's a social media influencer who has an enormous following. She started out by just making short little behavior tips and trick videos for pet parents. And now she has over 800,000 followers on TikTok. And she's got like 70 some odd thousand on Instagram. So we're really excited to have her as our kind of marketing and social media expert. She'll be doing a presentation as well as a work session that follows so that you can leave that presentation with some actionable steps to take as soon as you get home. We're really excited to have her.
Yeah, she's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see her energy and just see what she can teach some of us old folks here. So, and then the other person I wanted to talk about right now is Peter Tanella. He is a lawyer with Mandelbaum Barrett PC, and he's going to be giving us some great advice on how to understand the process when you are exiting out of the business. So I know he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's been in the veterinarian side for years and years. And he's started to work in the boarding and daycare side recently. So he's going to be an excellent addition as well. All right. So today's topic is, it's holidays are here pretty much. And we get asked the question a lot about holiday bonuses. Like, how much should I give? Should I give them? Can I afford to give them? So I think it's a good time to talk about staff incentives versus holiday bonuses. And Kari, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I kind of wrote down some notes because I wanted to really describe what I feel is the difference between incentives and bonuses. So there's a purpose behind them, right? Incentives are made to motivate specific behaviors and achievements. So if you're going to set up an incentive program, it's going to be based on maybe a particular metric that you're measuring, the number of dogs in house, the number of extra bath add-ons that are sold. It can be anything, but the idea is that it's tied to something that you want to monitor. Whereas like a bonus is basically just a show of appreciation to your staff for their overall performance. And that's usually more of a one-time thing and doesn't necessarily pay on a continual basis the way an incentive program may. Timing on incentives can be throughout the year and not just at the holidays, whereas typically bonuses are given at the end of the year, or in some cases in sales, you may see them come out quarterly. And then, frequency on incentives can be weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. But really, I think that when you do incentives and the staff see, even if it's just a small amount that goes into maybe their hourly wage or their overall paycheck, that's going to keep them motivated throughout the year. So having that every pay period or maybe one pay period a month is a great way for them to feel that initiative and reward based. Whereas, like criteria wise, I would say for a bonus, it's basically how well did the business do for the year? How generous do you feel for the year? What are you anticipating that may be really expensive costs that you have to incur starting the new year? So from that standpoint, bonuses can be very subjective depending on where you're at within your business. Whereas on incentives, you really are looking at tying it to some sort of measured goal. So, is it based on attendance, the overall, number of dogs in house, or maybe it's on client satisfaction? Maybe part of the incentives is that you encourage clients to talk or write letters or notes or something, reviews that are going to talk specifically about an experience they had with one employee. And maybe that is measured every month, that if you get 3 or 4 of those that come in, that's great. Maybe the employee that's mentioned in that review or in that note that may come in, that they get a different incentive. But the team overall, as you see more of those come in, the team gets a little base incentive for it as well. So that's kind of where I see the differences as far as how to do that. From a taxable standpoint, the way the IRS works nowadays is that bonuses are taxed and they have to go through payroll. But actually, they want you to track the money you use to spend on gift cards, which I would say probably a lot of businesses don't do. Or they will say, don't do them as an expense directly to the business. Maybe purchase them, like if you're an LLC, purchase them and just pay yourself back for what that is, and maybe run it through payroll for yourself, but not for the employees. So there are ways that you can kind of compensate for what the IRS is regulating on that. But yeah, from the standpoint of taxation, we want to do something that's generous to the employees, but also not punitive by giving something that they're going to take 40% in taxes. So do you have ideas, Shawnte, or should I keep going on as far as like?
I was just going to talk a little bit about my experience as a business owner, and I don't want to sound, well, I might sound a little negative, okay, but I want to tell the truth, and I want to tell like really my experience with it. So I would give bonuses. At first, I gave what I felt was pretty decent sized bonuses in cash, not in cash, but on their paycheck, their last paycheck before Christmas. And, I hardly got any recognition for that. And I know it's not about that. I know it's not about like recognizing, but it sure does help if they actually acknowledge that you gave a bonus, right? I mean, because in the beginning years of me operating, the first quarter was so tough. And often I did not pay myself for 2 to 3 months. And so, when I really reached and gave those bonuses and then only a handful of people actually thanked me for it, I was like, what am I doing? And looking back on it, I think that I always gave something because I felt like I needed to give something. I felt like I ended up kind of just paring it down because, I ended up giving them gift cards. And when I hand them the gift card, they'd be like, oh yeah, I got it, because I'm not even sure they noticed it. It was on their paycheck from before. But I think I would have moved to an all incentive based type program, because I think ultimately that's really the way to go. And maybe you do a hybrid type option, but you do really want to make the staff understand that by them improving the business, they're going to be incentivized for it. They're going to be rewarded for it. Because I think sometimes the staff are, well, I've been here a year, I've been here 2 years, I automatically deserve a raise. Well, that's not necessarily true. When the business does better, that allows everybody else to get more money. And that's what you have to connect with the staff, because they're not thinking about
Business owner.
and their needs, and they don't care. And that's maybe they don't, that's too harsh. But I would say that they won't necessarily recognize that you are really tightening the belt in your personal life to make things happen for them. So
Yeah.
I feel like incentivization is the way to go, and tie it to the goals, or tie it to the things that you want to see improved in your business.
Well, and maybe that is that you have incentives that go on throughout the year, but you come up with a really creative program that happens from, Thanksgiving through the end of December. And so that there is additional money that can create more of a holiday bonus, if you will, because the incentive is growing as they're doing something different for the holidays. And, maybe I think about all the holiday meals you used to make, Shawnte. So maybe that's, how many of those are they selling? And I mean, the ability to upsell is not that difficult. I know some people struggle with that, but that's also something they can be coached on. Mm-hmm. So having that ability and upselling those extras or those add-on services makes a big difference to the bottom line when, your costs on them generally are not huge. So, the other thing I wanted to say, because I love that you said my experience. So one of the things that I used to do a lot, because I too had those feelings, my whole life, my soul, everything was in that business. It was my baby. And no one was going to feel the same way that I did. But there were times when, the entitlement of where's my Christmas bonus, kind of thing. It was hard because, like you said, sometimes you don't pay yourself and you're doing something extra kind for your employees. And then to just not feel any level of appreciation can be very disheartening or deflating to you as the business owner. But what I found was that the experience of something for the staff at Christmas was huge. And so now we were lucky. We had this unusual parent organization that formed out of our pet parents, but they would draw. So we had a group of pet parents that would draw names, and they were our staff secret Santas. And so for a week, everybody got like a little gift, during the week. And then on the last day, we would actually just all kind of like pile up in our break room or in the lobby area, kind of behind our front desk. And we would each have a bag that was like $100 worth of presents from whoever that pet parent was. And that experience of watching the staff get so excited, it was like Christmas morning, everybody's sitting on the floor and they're pulling out gifts and they're unwrapping things. And they loved that more than any cash or gift card that I could give them. It was the experience of a pet parent was my secret Santa. And, and again, having that like my favorites page, so we could hand that to the pet parents and say, hey, this is their favorite candy bar and their favorite gift card or coffee or, whatever, that what was in that bag was customized to each employee, what they would really like. So
that idea.
Yeah. Well, and you may find that you have pet parents that come in and ask, oh, what kind of cookies do you like? Or, they're going to bring something. So why not throw that idea out to them and just say, hey, would you be willing to be like a secret Santa? And maybe put a dollar value on it. Maybe they only want to spend $25 or $30, but you can get some fun little things for that price range that would still make the experience itself really rewarding. So I think that's something when you can, and I actually did that in my personal life last year. I decided instead of getting gifts, I was going to do experiences. So like I took all my family on a horse-drawn sleigh ride up in the mountains of Colorado, and, that kind of stuff. It was so fun that we spent the day together. And, when we went to Starbucks on the way, I bought everybody the hot chocolate, and it was just the experience and spending time together versus just getting a gift and it being like, Merry Christmas,
Yeah, because we did do the secret Santa within the staff, and we did do like a holiday party. But I really think the idea of getting the customers involved, because I think the customers will actually go a little bit more out of their way to make it special for the staff. Whereas the staff, their budgets are tight too. So, we could never really have a high, it was like $10 to $20 really was the
Right.
limit. So I love that idea. And I think it just makes more like loyalty back and forth between.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it gives them the opportunity to get to know a staff member a little deeper instead of just that, hi, here's Fluffy, and, off they leave and the staff member takes them back into, whatever space they're supposed to go to. So it is just enhancing those relationships. And I think when you can deepen those, that builds the loyalty in your business, and those customers are more likely to come back and come back and come back. So,
yeah. Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the incentives, because not all incentives have to be monetary. I mean, you could do incentives that whatever the staff holds value to, like maybe it's days off or flexible scheduling. Maybe they get priority shift like duties, things like that. I think
maybe you're offering free, daycare services or, lodging or something. Maybe you're giving them pet insurance. That's something to look into, that staff may want pet insurance or some other pet-centric focused item that you could do.
We had a thing where I can't remember why they won that privilege. Maybe we had a contest or something, or it was, I can't remember what it was exactly, but the reward is that they got to pick music for a day. As long as the music was in a certain category,
yeah.
They got to create a playlist, and that was theirs, and they got to jam out all day. Like that was an incentive that we gave them.
Another one too would be like extra breaks, right? Because I think everybody likes breaks. They like to be able to step away from a group of dogs, where it's quiet, and or like you said, that extra time off. So maybe they are in an incentive or a competition type thing, and whoever wins for a week, they get an extra break every day, or they get to leave a half hour early, or something like that. That's actually quantified in time, because that seems to be very important to employees these days. And I think, it helps to just justify that work-life balance too, if you can help them achieve that.
Yeah. Talk about, you also had something where your staff built up points for.
Yeah. So we had what we called bark bucks. And so you could earn those. I actually had them in my desk for a while, but I don't know that I do. But you could earn them for different things. So management could give out a bark buck at different, we had denominations, just like dollars from $1 to $100 bill. And you could earn them because management could give them out if they saw somebody doing a good deed or, helping another person. But how the majority of staff earned them was by doing what we call the shout out. And so let's say you and I are closing together and I'm running behind and you're like, hey, can I help finish your report cards for you? I'm like, awesome. So at the end of my shift, I go grab a form and I write up, I'm shouting out Shawnte on November 20th because she helped me fill my, or finish out my report cards, and we were both able to clock out on time, blah, blah, And so then I would turn that in, and that at our next huddle, like staff huddle, it would be read out loud by management, and then we would each get a bark buck. So, so you got it just because you were awesome, and I got it because I recognize your awesomeness. So they could hang on to them, and they could save up and earn like time off. They could do massages. I mean, we had things that were of higher value. And then we also just had like a little store. So if they just wanted to get like a can of Coke and some bag of chips, they could do that with the lower denomination stuff. So yeah, it was good.
That's a great idea. I think I stole that from you, and I implemented something like that in my shop too. So,
I mean, I don't know how many people actually have full-time 40-hour-a-week employees anymore, because I've stepped out of my business from that standpoint. So when you're looking at creative scheduling or flex schedules, a traditional week is 5 8-hour shifts to get a 40-hour work week. Whereas some of the flex scheduling would be 4 10s. So you have 3 days off every week, or even doing 3 12s, which is only 36 hours, but the way most states work is that if you do 3 12-hour shifts, it's considered 40 hours in full time. So if you have a facility that's open 7 to 7, that's your 12 hours. So, you've got an employee who's there all day, and it takes a little stamina in the beginning to get used to that. But once they do, working 3 days and having 4 days off is an amazing schedule. I mean, that's what most nurses do. So it is kind of nice from that perspective. But
well, I think that's a huge high value thing that you could offer your staff, is just flexible scheduling. Or, we would require people to work on the weekends or rotate on the weekends. So maybe it's like, if they do a really great job at whatever goal you set in front of them, that they don't have to work weekends for a month or something like that.
yeah,
I mean, I think for the young professionals in our industry, that's huge for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is that if you're running something that's a kind of a more high level incentive program through, let's say you started, well, I mean, you could almost start it in October, but run something, and whoever is the highest point value or whatever, however you're going to run the program, that person is guaranteed to have Thanksgiving Day off or Christmas Day off, whatever that day is, that is, the most requested, that's the ultimate prize. You don't actually have to work on that holiday. So that's another way to think about it is, I'm sure they would all appreciate being able to spend that holiday with their family. So.
Yeah, the holidays were always, look, when I was interviewing people, I brought that up. Look, holidays is our go time, and you will be required to work at least one of them or a couple of them. But at least, for the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, I always had a sign up sheet, and I would have them rate which one do you want to work the most and which one do you want to work the least. And then I would try to accommodate to what they wanted, because some people were like, not a lot's going on Christmas at my house, and I'd rather work and make that time and a half or double time, whatever, however you pay them. So, I tried to make it where they had some say in it instead of just like scheduling them.
Well, the other thing too is what locally is like a really neat holiday experience that's only there. Maybe it's your zoo lights or botanical gardens, or maybe there's something that the Nutcracker comes every year, and that you have an employee who wants that. If you could personalize something that's kind of unique to your area as a holiday bonus or incentive, I mean, that's another good idea. Just again, that's going back to, it's an experience for them and being able to send them to something like that. So.
Yeah, other incentive is, I forgot to mention this, but maybe they want to be PAC certified. So you could pay for their exam fees, or you could pay, you can provide some type of education, which ultimately would help your business, because they're getting education to really do a better job with managing the pups in a safe manner. So that's another thing that I think would be a high value for the staff.
I think any kind of education, if they are looking to go through, Pet Guru College and they become a Pet Guru College graduate, there's a lot of things that they can do out there that would give them a certificate of completion. And the more you have of that, the more you can advertise that to your clients, just to ensure them that you have a very well-trained staff that's providing the highest care quality in the market. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, anything else that we want to add to this conversation? Anybody out there have any comments? Yeah. In the meantime, I will go ahead and post a link for Grow Your Pet Care Business Facebook group, because we certainly want to invite you to join us on that. And then I also posted the Dog Gurus page. And that has links to the live event, our pet business growth workshop. But I'll also put the link in for that if you want to see what other fabulous speakers that we're going to have there. It's going to be a great time. So there's that. All right.
I put a shout out in there to Jordan A., who's in Alaska, because she has a really cute business. It's called Puppuccinos.
Oh, I love that. And you're a coffee addict, so
yeah, I know.
That's awesome. Good job, Jordan.
Yeah. Thanks for keeping the dog safe. So.
Yes. All right, everybody,
Cool.
stay safe out there. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope your days are filled with cheer, family, and friends, and lots of laughter. We're going to be off next week, obviously, because of the holiday. But please, everybody, I hope your business is prosperous and have a wonderful week.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
Bye.